this time, son. I'm a survivor. I will survive. I will survive. And I'm a firm believer. We'll forever shine just to stay alive. That simple means it. Nobody can hold me apart. Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can hold me sick. I will not allow negativity. Nobody can hold me apart. Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can. Nobody can. Everybody show me some strength. No weakness. Show me a lion. No. Strength. No weakness. Show them who we are. Strength. No weakness. Show me a lion. No. Everybody strength. No weakness. Show them who we are. Not when you're old. Your enemies, they must tremble. Your enemies, they must tremble. Yo, and when you're old, everything has to humble. Everything has to humble. I'm a go-getter. I just go hard. I just go hard. And I'm a kind of fella. Put my trust in God. Put my trust in God. That simple means it. Nobody can hold me apart. Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can hold me. No weakness, show me a lion. No. Strength. No weakness, show them who we are.
Strength, no weakness, guys. Welcome to Ridealong. Welcome to Ridealong for today, Tuesday. As you come in, guys, go ahead and share up the program and share up the thing, share up the thing, share up the thing. We are ready to start. Hope everyone having a great Tuesday. Guys, a lot to unpack on this program here today. A whole lot. All right, a whole lot to unpack, a whole lot to discuss. Lacey J, how you doing? Welcome. Share up the thing, share up the thing. Ah, boy. Let me tell all you something. I think today would go down, not a thing, today is going to go down in the history books, right? Based on what we just learned just minutes before we came on air, today is a day for the history books. And that we're going to talk about. And to assist me in this conversation, we have two of our favorites. I call them the usual suspect, Jerry Hopkins and John Crow. But before we talk to Jerry Hopkins and John Crow, guys, let me explain. Original Courtney, how you doing? You want the shirt? No problem. I can lend it to you, Original Courtney. No problem, no problem. Let me just say this, guys. Based on the program that was promoted earlier to be aired on Ridealong. Hold on, let me just share it one time on my page and then we'll talk about the gentleman from St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the tip of the volcano. Hold on. Hold on. Gotta share it right here. Okay. All right. So we're working on two stories, guys. We're working on two stories, two big stories, right? First, we promoted earlier that we're going to have this gentleman who was on the 18th, the day before, the same day the La Soufrière volcano erupted violently, right? A young man took his camera and went up to the volcano and he captured everything that was happening there. Right? A lot of people said that he called him names. They call him an idiot. They call him a fool. They call him all kind of names. And we wanted to learn more about the gentleman and why, why he risked his life to go up to the volcano at La Soufrière and capture those footage. And we all know that the volcano has been erupting violently for the past couple days, almost a week and some. So we scheduled the young man to come on the program. He accepted and he's ready, set, tested at 4:15 p.m. today, guys. As we are about to do a final check of the audio and visual, the young man who is, I'm going to show his picture right here in the video. This young man right here, his name His name is Mr. David Dawson Rodriguez. This is the young man that took his camera and went up to the summit of the volcano. And there you see him capturing the footage. Now, guys, this is not a year ago, you know. This footage was actually on the 18th. That was 2 days ago. That was Sunday, right? That was Sunday. So I wanted to find out more about it. So again, we invited him. He promised, we cleared everything for him to come on today. Right before we were about to do the final test, police arrested the brother. Yeah. 5 minutes before he was about to do a final test, police arrested the brother. Now, I don't know the full story, right? And I don't know his story, so I'm not going to judge him. I mean, when I saw the video, I'm like, why is he risking his life so much so to capture footage? But I got a chance to speak to the family, and I kind of understand the brother a little bit more. I understood that this brother is actually, he's a tour guide. And for years, since he was a child, since he was young, Paradise Adventure Tour SVG took people up to the volcano and tour and do tours. That's what he did for many, many years. So he knows the terrain and he understands the volcano. He understands the volcano because you don't know when the volcano is going to erupt, but he understands the areas of the volcano. When I check deeper into this gentleman, right, I was also told a big story. He was one of the individual. He was the individual. He was the person that alerted the general public that there was some changes to the volcano. That's before the prime minister came out. That's before any ministers came out. That's before anyone put out anything as it relates to this particular volcano. So a lot of people credit him for giving the public information. And right after he put out the story as to the changes in the volcano, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines later came out with their story. So he was the first, as far as what I understood from the story, right? I don't understand the full extent as to why and how and all this in-betweens. Hence the reason why we asked this man, Mr. Rodriguez, to come on the program, and he accepted. But as I said, right before, guys, minutes before we was about to do a final check of the guy, he sent me a text. And I'll read the text verbatimly, what he said, right? I'll read the text verbatimly, how he said it as well. Let me find his text. He said, me get lock up. That was his exact words. He said, me get lock up. And that's all he said. Now, the family was on the phone with him at the instant, at the point in time, at the exact time that police came for him. I don't know the extent or the exact charge, but I promise you, we will get more information as to what really happened. Again, I'm not justifying and saying that more people should take the cameras and go up to the summit of the volcano, because believe it or not, well, believe it, it is freaking dangerous up there. There's no indication as to when there will be another eruption. In fact, hours after he left the summit of that volcano, hours after, the volcano erupted. Now, if he were there at the point in time, probably he would not have lived to tell the rest of the story, because the volcano is just erupting. And all this violence and fires and rocks and boulders that is spitting out of this volcano, it could surely kill someone. So I am not advocating that somebody take the camera and go up to the volcano and do this. I am not telling that. And in fact, I was going to say that to him on camera, that this is not an advocacy for people to do that and thinking when they do that they're going to get interviews and they're going to get a worldwide acclaim. No, we're not saying that. But I wanted to hear his story. So again, as to why he cannot appear on the program today, he was arrested. He was arrested at about 5 minutes before 4 o'clock today. And I don't have any further information as to his whereabouts or his charges or the charges against him. All right. Again, let me summarize this thing really quick, guys. Let me summarize this thing really, really quick again. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm saying. This young man, we promoted that he was going to come on, Mr. Rodriguez. He was scheduled to come on, but right before right before 4 o'clock, as we was doing a final check of his audio and visual, we got a text stating that he was arrested, he was locked up, he was confirmed by his family members, he was confirmed. I spoke to his family, brother and sister, and they confirmed that that is in fact the case. But guys, we won't leave you dry. They promised us that they would give us some exclusive that no one else really seen before or heard before as to some of the footage that he have and some of the things that he wants to share and some of the things that he would have shared if he had an opportunity to come on the program today. All right? Okay. So as Lacey J said, Junior, we get it. Please move on. All right. With that said, I want to talk about the next big story on the program today. This is the next big story. Derek Chauvin.
For the jury.
I played the whole video out for you guys, and we'll talk about it. Just moments ago, guys, this played out to the world.
All right, please be seated. Members of the jury, I understand you have a verdict. Members of the jury, I will now read the verdicts as they will appear in the permanent records of the 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota, County of Hennepin, District Court, 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota Plaintiff versus Derek Michael Chauvin, Defendant. Verdict, Count 1. Court File Number 27, CR 20-12646. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April, 2021 at 1:44 p.m. Signed, Juror Foreperson, Juror Number 19. Same caption, verdict Count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April, 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Signed by Jury Foreperson, Juror Number 19. Same caption, verdict Count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April, 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Jury Foreperson 019. Members of the jury, I'm now going to ask you individually if these are your true and correct verdicts. Please respond yes or no. Juror number 2, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Basically, we've seen it here just a few moments ago. Derek Chauvin, guilty, guilty, guilty. To discuss it, we have John Crow and Mr. Jerry Hopkins. Guys, let's talk. Were anybody surprised with the verdict?
I would not say that I was surprised. The atmosphere in the country has changed. I'm a little bit, I wouldn't say surprised, but a little bit, I was overwhelmed, actually. I was sitting in a living room and I was crying as the verdict was unfolding. I cried up to the point where you called me. I actually was crying,
wow.
listening to and watching all of the reactions. I'm a television surfer, so I go from channel to channel, and I was in tears because the history goes back, and the Attorney General Ellison went very deep into going back and looking at past similar situations involving police and reports that were given. And let me add, I mean, whether they're listening to or not, but let me put it out here now that we have to extend our condolences and our sympathy to the families involved on both sides.
Right.
Including the police officer's family, because he has wife and children. And I'll copy a description that the Attorney General used, that he said he copied from one of his colleagues, a bouquet of humanity. And it's the first time I heard any group of people described in that manner, but a bouquet of humanity, meaning we're looking at the conglomerate of all types of people, recognizing the humanity in each other. And as I posted up on my page just a minute ago, while we get a guilty verdict on this instance, but in our little Grenada, we have Oscar Bartholomew, who is still waiting on justice after several years. And the police officer who were charged, we're yet to get a verdict on that. And I know we're not talking about Oscar Bartholomew, but I cannot help but reflect. And that's what part of the tears that I shared earlier, that part of those tears came out of knowing how brutal Oscar Bartholomew was killed.
Yeah.
And no one so far have been convicted, if I could use that phrase, of that piece of injustice. And that is something that needs to change. Our commissioner of police and others definitely, the police commissioner in this county here, he testified against the officer.
Yeah.
He testified, and that is there's a lot of weight to that. Other officers testified against this Chauvin, and that's part of the reason why they're able to have a conviction today.
Yeah.
We need to see that happening, Grenada.
Stick a pin right there, because there's a lot to compress here in this whole guilty verdict, right? Jerry, let me get your preliminary view on the guilty verdict here, Jerry. Were you surprised at all?
No, I would not say surprised. I would say I'm pleased.
Yes.
And yes. The reason why I would say it like that is because it would not have been a surprise to me if they found him not guilty.
Not guilty, yes.
Based on the history.
Yes.
Based on the history of justice in this country. Because this decision today, in a way, the entire judicial system, the justice in America, indeed and in fact, was on trial.
Right.
And this is not just a cliche, a phraseology. I mean, really, justice in America was on trial in this court case here, and I'm happy that justice was served. Justice was delivered by a jury of that killer cop's peers. And
right.
He is that. He's a killer cop. He committed a homicide and he was found guilty of it. On every count. And I hope that when it comes to sentencing, that he would be given the full extent in terms of the sentence that will be brought upon him. And however, I will not be mistaken. I will not mistake this to mean that justice in America would be fine from henceforth. Not at all. Because we have a lot of work to do still, and I know John Corey would agree with me. We have a lot of work to do still. This is just one judge, one jury making a decision with a lot of pressure on the outside from all of America, not just Black America, white America, progressives, even folks who are conservatives, known as conservatives in America, were showing their outcry and crying shame on what happened there in Minneapolis. So I'm happy that we got this decision, but the work has just begun. There's a lot to be done to right the wrongs, and a lot of it has to happen legislatively. The various legislatures around in the various states of this country and at the federal level, in the Congress of the United States of America, they must pass that bill that is currently being debated on the floors of Congress to make certain acts of police officers illegal, to ban certain practices that police officers have been engaged in across the United States of America, especially being detrimental to minorities.
Yeah,
There's a lot to be corrected.
we see a lot of this, right? But specifically in this particular case here, I was astonished, right? I was sitting there with my freaking mouth open when I saw the case that was presented, right? The prosecution presented an excellent case, and the defense, I don't know, is like if they're talking to some fools, like they think the jury, they think everybody else are dummies. They basically want to say, no, him putting his knee on this guy's neck for 9 minutes plus wasn't what killed him. It was because of some heart issues. I mean, are you
okay, Junior, you have to. One of the things that we don't do, unfortunately, as an audience or as a people, most of us do not read, and we do not read. I'm talking about not the daily newspaper. I'm talking about we don't look at history. Go back to Rodney King, and go back to several other similar cases. Whenever a trial like this comes up, the defense that you see put up by this defense, it's almost like a carbon copy of all of the defenses of people like Rodney King from the 1990s, right?
Yeah.
Where in other words, their lifestyle or their behavior is what caused them to die. There's no reference or there's no accountability on the part of law enforcement. Law enforcement is never given the full weight, if you will. Well, by the officer's action, this happened. It's always, well, he's a drug dealer. He likes to chase women. He liked to smoke. He likes to sell reefer. In the case of the guy in Staten Island, it was never. There's hardly ever any conversation about what the officer did or did not do, right? And so when we see these things unfold, unfortunately, most of us, we would sit on our pens. We do not write letters and complain. We do not let our elected officials know that this kinds of if you will, character assassination on the victim, the victim is not acceptable.
It always, and we always see, as you said, it's a carbon copy. The defense was exactly the same defense that I've seen in all of these cases. Always try the victim as if he did something, and all sorts of things came up. Or he smoked this and all sorts of craziness.
Yes,
John Crow hit the nail on the head there. I mean, it's a carbon copy. What they've been using as defense is not really trying to explain why the police officer did what he did, as much as trying to say that the victim was at fault or brought it upon himself.
Exactly.
And what they were trying to do also, remember, all they needed there is appeal to the maybe the racist tendencies of one of the jurors, of someone maybe who has some long time dislike for people who fit a certain stereotype. To say, well, he didn't deserve to live anyway, and maybe it is the carbon monoxide, or maybe it was the medication that he took that he should not have taken, trying to get a high on it, or maybe if he did not try to use a counterfeit $20 note, he would not have been in that situation. So he deserves what he got. They're just hoping that there would be someone in that jury who would think like that, who would cause a mistrial, who would stand in the way of justice. And
Jerry,
thank God, it did not happen this time.
It did not work. Jerry, understand this. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. I've never done any law work. But the job of the attorney or the defense in this case is to provide and to create doubt, and
Exactly.
so that you don't need all 12 jurors saying yay or nay. You're going to need one or two who will say yay or nay. And so whatever it is that is going to create doubt. So if it's his heart condition could create doubt. The fact that he was at the tailpipe of the car could create doubt. Anything but what the officer did to create doubt.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of getting one juror to create doubt in the trial, and then to get yourself a hung jury or get yourself a disputed jury, whatever they call those languages. But again, we and I go back to, and I'm going to, pardon me, but I'm going to stay in Grenada. Accountability of the officers.
Yeah.
Who holds our officers accountable for when they do things outside of what is being trained? Something I learned today. And one of the commentators was talking that in training school, they do not teach the history of policing to the police officers. So a young police officer who's just coming out on the street, he does not know, well, this case might change that. But he said across the board, you as a police officer, you don't know what officer so-and-so of 1960, what they did when they had, a baton and a police radio.
Yeah.
And how they police. So that you're coming into the force and you have no idea of the history of that department, and which is a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have a lot of work to do. I mean, I'm using Jerry's language, and I'm saying a lot of work to do in the sense back in the day when I was producing my program and I would talk about becoming citizens. There are a lot of us who are still walking around with a green card in our pocket, as opposed to getting involved with police, not with police, with voting, getting registered to vote. Jerry did a masterful job in the last cycle in terms of registering people to vote. And we need more of us who live in the United States of America to be part of the conversation by registering to vote and participating. Not just registering to vote, but by voting. No matter what the election is, I don't care what election is, as long as there's an election, I'm making sure that I find my way to the polling site and I'm voting. My son is now 16, and it's the same thing that he would now remind us that, well, there's an election on Tuesday and we have to go vote.
I want to talk about the signal that this sends, right? Because this is a ripple effect. This is not just America, We've seen so many police officers time and time again. They would go, they would kill an unarmed black man, and they would be acquitted, and it would happen over and over again. Now this is kind of like a sea change. This is like a difference. So it sends a difference.
It's a game changer.
Huh?
It's a game changer.
Again, do you think it sends that riveting effect to policing that, you ain't gonna get away with this, you're gonna get 40, 60 years in jail for this, Do you think this changed the whole game for real?
It will change the game for the new recruit or the new officer coming into the force. But for the old officers who are steeped in their racist what's that thing, that white supremacy mentality? Yeah, right.
But that doesn't change. That doesn't take away white supremacy from America. That doesn't take away.
No. But I'm saying and your question.
Yeah.
It is the in terms of the game changer for that white racist cop who is racist to the core. This is not going to change anything for him or her. Okay. Sometimes it emboldens them. Now, look back to the July 6th, the storming of the Capitol. Those men and women who stormed the Capitol, with the president standing behind them, former president standing behind them, they didn't go in there to serve cookies and ice cream. Their racist mentality is what told them that they had a right to do that. The police officers on the force right now, and we have to acknowledge that there's a dark side to policing as well as the bright side to policing. I'm talking now the dark side to policing. Those officers who who are working on the dark side, and the ones who are on the clear, doing real police work, and they do not pull up the officers who are working in the shadows. You have to put a spotlight. The reason this guilty thing came through is because there were police officers who felt it necessary to talk and testify against Chauvin. If they sat down and used the blue wall of silence and blue line of silence and accepted it as it is, it will go down the way that it is. And by the way, there was another shooting in Long Island today.
Yeah, we saw that.
Out in is it West Babylon or someplace like that.
Hempstead out there.
Hempstead, right? At the Shop and Stop out in Long Island.
Yeah.
Again, because in America, any problems we have, we're going to solve it with a gun.
Right.
Anytime that we have an issue, we're going to pull the power.
Yeah, Jerry, let's talk about the game changer. You said that it's a game changer.
I agree with John Crow to a point. In terms of how some new recruits would look upon this, but even among some of the old seasoned veteran white supremacists, the racist cops, there are going to be those among them who would think twice to some extent when they look at what just happened here. Because trust me, this Chauvin guy, Derek, the way he acted, and even the way he acted with no remorse whatsoever in that courtroom, he thought he was going to walk away free, a free man. But they're going to realize that, hey guys, it seems like there's nigga, you know what? They're getting some. They're getting smart here. They're having their way now. The system is beginning to listen. The system is beginning to do what's just and not just what we say is right. So there are some of them, for fear of, I just want the sentences to be tough enough so that more of them would think twice before they engage in their racist practices that they have been engaging in over the years. And there's something else I think they're also going to think about. The fact is, at no time in the history of civil rights activism in this country has so many black, white, yellow, Jewish, I mean, the way people came out in their numbers across all 50 states and territories of these United States in protest against the cold-blooded, open slaughter, assassination of an individual, George Floyd, is something that spoke volumes. And I think because of all the destruction, although I do not condone violence and I do not condone the destruction of property, as we saw, but as Martin Luther King said in the past, when justice doesn't take its normal and usual course, the people will find other ways to manifest their frustrations. And that is what we saw when you saw all the looting and burning and everything else we saw during that period of time after the killing of George Floyd. And I think America was put on notice that the people out there, the people who stand for justice, the civil rights activists, will not put up with this BS anymore.
True.
And they're going to take action, and it's going to hit people where it hurts, in the pocket.
Yeah.
And America, corporate America, felt the pain. Insurance companies felt the pain. Because trust me, the insurance companies had to pay out. And they don't like to pay out.
Yeah.
When you bring claims that they must pay, so that they will speak to the politicians, they will speak to the legislators, and people got the message. So I think everyone was on notice. Everyone was in fear to some extent as well. I mean, these jurors, yes, you could hide them as much as you want to from the media and try to cut them off and tell them, don't watch the TV, don't watch the news, don't do this, don't do that. Trust me, they knew that if they came out with a not guilty decision, All
That would have
hell
been
was
crazy.
going to break loose. America was going to be on fire. And that is not to say that they were interfering with justice. No, they just went there and they did what they had to do. They looked at the facts, they looked at the law, they applied the law to the facts, and they got the damn right decision. They got it right.
That's right. That's right. Right, as we want to get you guys involved in this conversation right here, right? So we open up the phone lines. We want to get you guys involved. 718-701-5720. I saw Doug wrote something there that's very, very interesting, right? Let me see if I could go back to it. Let me see if I could go back to what Doug said. Let me see if I could find what Doug said. He said something about nothing is really gonna change. Yeah, here we go. Doug said that nothing is gonna change, in my opinion. This one is a sacrifice, and they're going right back to business as usual.
I hope he's wrong.
Listen, it seems, right? It seems. Look how easy it is for the police officers to just put up a stupid defense, like, oh, like, okay, well, I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my taser. This type of crazy, like it's not even a defense. Like this is like, you are so certain that you're gonna get away with your bullshit. You don't even have any kind of defense. The audacity of some of these police officers to think that they could put their knee on someone, break his neck,
Junior,
and feel like get away with it. The audacity of people.
Listen, as John Crow said a while ago, the only how that we're going to see the real change beyond this is if more police officers, peers, come out and did what the senior cops did in this trial, in this case, and served as witnesses against the defendants. In the past, you never see that. They had a blue code, a blue wall of silence. I mean, no, they will not testify against each other. And that has to begin, and I'm happy that John Crow has been raising this. It has to happen not just in America, it has to happen in the Caribbean too. It has to happen in Grenada too. Senior cops who do their job and do it well, who serve and protect well, must be able, they should be able, and they should take the initiative to come forward and say it as it ought to be said. When a cop violates the law, when he behaves and performs and conducts himself in an unreasonable way, they should say it and bring them to justice as they would bring anyone else to justice. So if we are going to have change, that must happen. That must happen across the board.
Margaret, hold on. Margaret is saying that Doug has a point, because even during the period of the time that this trial was going on, the police officer was charging the police officer shot this kid, this young kid, and it just happened. It's just like it's nonchalant. It's just a regular day.
But other things are going to happen, Junior. For example, this qualified immunity. That is something we're going to be talking about a lot from henceforth. That is something they're trying to change right now. Basically, in the past, and that started at the federal level, and states applying the law in ways that are very similar. It says that if as a police officer in the process of trying to execute some warrant or trying to apprehend someone, you do certain things that would otherwise be seen as improper, you could be allowed to walk free, and you will not be held responsible for it. You're immune to criminal charges. That has to end. I think that police officers must be made to pay for their wrongs, pay for the crimes, and when they do things that result in civil action, instead of someone suing the city or the state or the federal government and collecting taxpayers' money to compensate for the wrongs of a cop, that cop should be singularly, individually liable. If he knows that when he violates the law, that when he breaks the law, that when he follows, he doesn't follow the protocols established by law, and he violates that, and it results in harm or death of a victim, that he's responsible and his family is responsible in terms of having to pay up. Trust me, they'll watch their actions more carefully, and there'll be less of that. But right now, they know they could do anything and get away with it, and taxpayers' money will pay from the city, taxpayers' money will pay from the state, taxpayers' money will pay at the federal level, so they could do what they want and walk away scot-free. That has to end. And that will end when laws are put in place to ensure that it happens no more. And qualified immunity.
the system involves more than just the police. You have the police on the front end. Then you have the court system. This judge sits in a very unique position where he's able to, if I could use the word, render or the sentencing, etc. But generally, the system is what upholds what the police come to them with. Think of you getting up a red light ticket, or some kind of moving violation, and it's you and the court and you and the officer. No matter what you say, witness sometimes or no witness,
yes,
the court is going to hold up whatever the officer comes in that courtroom with.
True.
And that is standard across the board.
True.
No, you might have real solid evidence that you did not run that light or you did not violate the law as the police is saying. But they would give that police the benefit of the doubt because he has a uniform and because he's assigned and he has a speed gun, etc., etc. So the system, and this is why I say about becoming citizens and participating in the system. You go to the polling booth and you select, and we have to get a lot more involved. Our community right now, I'm look at what is happening with the Chinese group, and God bless them that they're getting the blessings nowadays. Caribbean people do not have that kind of luxury in this town right now, where the disrespect that we face on a daily basis.
Yeah.
On a daily basis. Now the Chinese, you cannot look at a Chinese person too hard right now and you don't get arrested because they have the system behind them. We don't have the system behind us.
Let's bring in
we don't participate.
Let's bring in a good friend of mine there. He's in Jamaica right now.
Who that Mr. Chopper? That Mr. Chopper?
Chopper.
John, how you doing, my brother?
I'm there with you. Just suck.
Welcome, Chopper. Welcome, Chopper.
You guys are the usual suspects. So we're talking about this, Chopper. Reaction to this verdict we just heard there. I want to get your immediate reaction as that verdict was read.
This morning I had a discussion. Greetings, everybody. Greetings. This morning we had a discussion surrounding the same. What was possible? What are the possibilities? And guilty was what we thought it would have been. So there's no surprise for me. But what struck me was the get out of jail card that the judge gave to the prosecution. To the defense.
Oh.
Right? The statement that the judge made by saying Maxine Walters' argument is grounds for an appeal. I don't know if anybody saw that. But what I took from that is a get out of jail card, basically saying here is something that they can use just in case.
Inflammatory language.
Yes.
Wow.
But all in all, though, I think it speaks to the democracy of the United States. The United States is still ranked as the best democracy in the world, and it proved today that I think the justice system is moving.
People power. People power. People's voices do make a difference.
Absolutely. And in this case, you can see where the outrage that came in this case paid off, because had we just gave up when there was Trayvon Martin, have we gave up on Tamir Rice, the name is?
Yeah. Yes.
Had we given up on these cases, then the justice system perhaps would have continued along the same line, where black men in the United States can be killed brutally and nothing comes of it. Because that's the precedent that was set leading up to today.
Yeah.
And we should commend the leaders of the Black Lives Matters movement. The Black Lives Matter movement. We some people try to lorate that movement, but listen, say what you want, but for that movement, a lot of the organizing and the protests and the demands that have been made across this country, across America, would not have happened. And the Trayvon, that case is where it really started. And I'm happy that they took it upon themselves to do that. And that folks everywhere, folks who were there before BLM and who who came alongside BLM. I'm happy that everyone came together. You know, the brother just said something else about what the judge said, and I think what the judge said there when he made that statement is related to what John Crow said a while ago. It has to do with understanding the politics of the whole thing, and how the various the pieces of the puzzle that come together. This judge knows that he's trying to please everybody. He knows that there are those out there. He knows there are those out there who would brand him as a liberal judge, or as a judge who is caving into the pressure of those on the outside who are crying out for justice and saying that this must be done and that must be done. So he's making it seem as if he's not really taking a side. And look, guys, you know, there is this. However, I don't think that will go too far, because really, to appeal, a decision such as this one, you really could only go on in terms of basis for an appeal showing that the judge misapplied the law or some rule of law in terms of the proceedings, in interpreting a rule and applying the rule. You can't just go. I mean, that is external to the case. What somebody said on the outside is external to the case. It doesn't change the facts that the jurors looked at, that were examined by the jurors. It doesn't change the law that was applied to the facts to result in the decision that we have. And so it's not a easy bar to cross to qualify to have basis for an appeal. So that one wouldn't be enough to do it. I mean, and I don't know why he said that, but I think that statement was as careless as the one made by anyone else on the outside.
But Jerry, the fact is this: the system allows, and he understands the system. The system allows, because again, it's a framework that you're working with, right? I mean, it just so happened that this case, like to use, it might serve as a benchmark, but nonetheless, the system is in place. The people like the judges, you have people, prosecutors, the Attorney General's office, and those people all part of the same system. And when they bring a case, before they go to trial, right? You know, the thing about the grand jury and all of that. All of that is part of system that upholds the behavior of bad policing. Now, I make a note here for myself just now. You mentioned the fact about the insurance and insurance in terms of corporate America. Every cop is insured. I don't know if people know that, but every cop who is in any police department in the United States, there's an insurance on that cop. If and when a police officer violates the law in a case like this, and the families start going after the insurance of the police departments and the unions of these cops, that is where you're going to see sea change. Because now, like you talk about the corporate America having to pay out, by you challenging the insurance of these officers and the beneficiaries and so forth, by going after that money, is where you're going to see some real change taking place, because now you're going after the pocket. And until more organizations,
that's where they feel it.
That is when they're going to start responding differently, because now the pension is at stake, the families' pension is at stake. They themselves the money is coming out of their pocket.
Yeah, until then, Chapa, you were saying if it's too late.
But I was asking, John Crow, is it too late though? Because even after conviction, can the family still go with a civil suit for money?
Sometimes yes, depending on the case. Sometimes, I don't want to say across the board yes, sometimes yes. But what I'm saying to you in general, not just this case, in general, if and when you find a police officer in wrong, most attorneys, they would say don't bother with it because the union is very strong, they have the best lawyers, they have the and so then they can never brush it off to the side. But there's an insurance thing. Jerry mentioned it before about the not herd immunity, the
qualified immunity, right?
those are the walls that have to be broken down in order
That has to change.
to get the police to, if you will, heal. Until you're able to break into those kind of walls and make the police pay. The whole idea is to make them pay, and they're going to pay, one way or the other, is when you're going to see changes, because no police chief wants to know that his department is going to lose money based on some bad cop behavior.
Yeah, one of the things that I think absolutely need to change, right, is some kind of registry. Like some police officers would be in this department,
Exactly.
and they would do something in this department, and they would get
And they
fired,
lose them.
and they just go someplace else. They go to New
Absolutely.
York, they go to Florida, wherever, and they could be a police officer there as well. So there's no registry, and that is a problem. You know, you need to root
Junior,
out those nasty, those bad cops.
Junior, that is so important. And again, I'm going to go back to something that John Crow said earlier that I completely agree with, and I would like to elaborate on that. It is maximally important that our people on the outside take political participation seriously. Those who are green card holders, who are just sitting there on the fences, not becoming citizens, they need to take, when they see what, after seeing what just happened, they need to go and become a citizen, apply for your citizenship. And what we ought to be doing more than we have done. And that is why every year on the Parkway, instead of going and jump up on the Parkway, I used to have a booth right there at Bedford and Eastern Parkway, registering people to vote. Taking them out of the bands and getting them to register to vote. And we need to do more of that. And that is why during the census 2020, I led a campaign to get people to become US citizens, and I brought it to the streets. I brought it in our music, in our reggae, in our soca, in our compa. I brought the message to the people. Because when we do that, we need to get our people to vote and take voting seriously. They should only elect officials who have a track record of demanding change, real change, legislative change, and change in terms of behavior. A track record, not the ones who promise it during the campaign only, or only when they're running for an office. The ones who have a track record of doing that, and that would deliver that kind of promises they make, that they have been living their lives on in terms of their activism, who would deliver that when they become legislatively involved. And to bring about change, it has to be in the education in the classroom. It has to be in terms of, you know, who we elect to make sure that the laws are passed that would bring about the changes we need. And it also has to be in terms of some of the changes. The qualified immunity must go. We need to have that registry where cops who commit a crime in one state will basically be banned for life, cannot show up somewhere in another state and get to be a cop to do the same thing elsewhere. And our whole culture must change. It will take time, but we have to begin with having people in office and who would do that for us. And the judicial system has to change. Some laws on the books must go. Some laws on the books have to be erased. That has to change too. And some judges must go as well. There are some judges in the system who are known racists. The decisions they have taken, they have passed, their rulings show who they are. So we have to have it across the board comprehensively and be persistent in our fight, in our struggle for that.
Well, here's the problem that I have, right? Here's the problem that I have. We as people, we just so goddamn reactive. We are so reactive. Something happened today, we jump up, we protest, we this, we that, we make noise, we forget. And then it happens again, we jump up, we this, we that, and we're not being proactive. And I'm glad that we kind of bridging the gap as to what we should do to make us more proactive than reactive to the situation. Because this is going to happen again. But if we don't make changes, Chopper, if we don't make the changes that's necessary, put people in the position. Put people in the position that could really make change. Right? That could really make change. Then we being more proactive and reactive. But for now, we just being reactive to this because the same set of people sitting there. This is gonna happen again next month. I don't like it. I'm not looking forward to it. But it's gonna happen. Because there are people that sitting at the helm that is not they haven't changed. They're the same. Go ahead, Chopper.
Well, that's one of the questions. That's one of the questions I wanted to put to the Black Lives Matter people. Is that yes, we march, yes, we protest, yes, we are outraged. But after the outrage, what's next?
Yeah,
Outrage
true.
again.
No, they have an
Are
answer.
we
They,
seeing
they have an
policies?
answer.
Are we seeing any advocation? Uh, Say again.
The Black Lives Matter people have an answer. As a matter of fact, they have drafted and they have proposed legislation and different aspects of American culture that need to be modified and amended. So they're not just making noise on the streets. They're also legislatively demanding changes in the law and in certain practices. What's not happening? The problem is this. The problem is mostly with the elected officials, and it's also with the judges that we have. They are the ones in a position really, and our educators have a big part to play too in our school system or curriculum. A lot of the changes must happen there. In terms of our legislators, many of them, they just do it as a job. They say the right things to get the votes, they get into office, and they just sit back, relax, collect the monies, come out again next campaign, and they just do it all over. It's a cycle. The judges, they rule comfortably, and they don't really care who's getting the short end of the stick, and they keep their jobs for life in most cases, except for the ones who are elected, and they just play the political game, as John Crow mentioned it earlier on. And the educators, same thing. They complain, okay, we have a ratio issue, not enough teachers in the classroom, or not enough of this, or not enough of that. But hardly anything has been done about what they're teaching our children, the content, the curriculum, and it's not really teaching them the kind of pride they need in themselves, the knowledge and awareness of who they are as a people, life skills. We need more in terms of to prepare our youths for gainful employment and self-employment. If we're going to change the dynamics of things, we have to prepare our people to go out there with fewer problems, ready to solve problems and to bring solutions to the problems and the challenges of life, and ready to see themselves as worthy.
Yeah.
Believe in themselves. Our system is not producing that sufficiently.
Yeah.
Chopper, let me answer Chopper question more succinct. The Black Lives Matter movement didn't just start in recent times. I mean, the name is recent, but the movement itself goes back to the Black Panther Party, goes back to even before Charlie King, where there people have been advocating on behalf of Black folk who have been brutalized and murdered by the police with impunity. The police, there are some bills in several states right now calling for police reform. The press initially picked it up as that they want to defund the police, right? And so the negative press went with that of defunding the police, and so that those on the left use that against them as if they're trying to shut down
those on the right. Those on the right. Those on the right.
Right. Okay. And so the police, the proposal for police reform is on the agenda on a national level, not just on a local level, on a national level. The president, it's in the president's hands right now, where they are looking at police reform. So that this president is right now under the gun, so to speak, because he is seriously looking at how we can reform the police.
And he promised that. And he promised that in his campaign.
And he's working that through, however, whatever channels that they have to go through with that now. So in terms of your question, yes, the Black Lives Matter movement are effective and are significant. And this is, hence I go back to what I said before in terms of us and our participation. We're glad to jump on the bandwagon. We're glad to jump on Eastern Parkway, Labor Day, etc., etc. Nothing wrong against Carnival, but we have to take our protest a little bit more serious. Now, all of these different things happened in our community. While we're talking here today and saying about becoming citizens and so on and voting, how many of us call our Congress representative and hold them accountable or question them as to what is their position or positions on certain aspects of that things that affect us?
Yeah.
And very few of us even know who the Congress person is, woman or man, or
Yeah,
who the
so
city
correct.
council, who the city council person is, woman or man, and
Yeah,
who and
John
what
point,
positions they have, woman or man.
John point there, John Crow, and I think
Okay.
again when we go back to being proactive. But listen, I promise that we would take this program up to 7 o'clock, and it's seven
Oh, we
o'clock
are.
now. Time really
Oh
fly when
shit.
we have it fun. We got to wrap it up. I'll just get some closing comments, guys, from everyone. Chapel, let's start with your closing comments on the verdict and where you see this going from here.
Well, I'm happy. I'm happy with the way it went. I think it's a landmark verdict. I think it has empowered people to have some more confidence in the justice system. I think it's now up to the leaders, the Democratic Party, who is now in the White House, to make the necessary changes. One of the things that Barack Obama administration was blamed for was the lack of appointing enough judges to the bench. I think the Biden administration now is now forced to make those changes and to ensure that the right people are in the right places so that changes can be made, effective changes and tangible changes, changes that will yield result over the long term. So I concur with John Crow, and I concur with you guys that this is perhaps the best news we've had in a long while. Justice has prevailed, and I look forward to not having to watch any more of this. It's almost impossible, but we can always hope. We can always hope that we don't have another case of black men in America being gunned down. I am one who live in the United States, and I got so outraged and disgust about it to the extent that I'm on the verge of packing up and moving back home permanently, because I don't want to exist in a country that I could be murdered simply because of the color of my skin. So with that, I'll say good verdict, and we're heading in the right direction. It's now up to the Biden administration to follow through and to bridge the gap where the Barack Obama administration falls short.
All right, thank you, Chopper. Final words, Jerry. Final words.
Yeah, well, first, I'm pleased with the decision, but there is nothing, and it's an epic decision, but it is not a panacea. It is not going to be a pill that would solve all our problems with the problems we have with the justice system in America. The work has really just begun. I mean, there's a lot more to be done. I just hope that the proposed legislative changes that have been discussed in Washington, D.C., in Congress would go through. It's not just up to the Biden administration. They have to show leadership. But because things are so narrow, the majority is so, I mean, it really is just one vote, the vote of the vote of the vice president to tilt things in the way of the Democrats in the Senate. So you have to have buy-in. You have to get the other side to look at reason and doing what's right and what's just. So I hope that the hearts and minds of all Americans, all God-fearing, peace-loving, justice respecting Americans would do the right thing going forward, and that the pressure that the Black Lives Movement and other activists in this country have been putting on, that they will not relent. Maintain the pressure, keep up the momentum, and do not just relax and take it easy from here on. The struggle continues. We have to press on. There's more. The changes that we have been demanding must be seen and made to happen, and we as a people must participate fully in every aspect, at every level in the political process, to see to it that justice is done for all.
Absolutely. We're going to wrap it up with John Crow, last but not least. John Crow, your final thoughts.
Boss, I am appreciating this moment that you put on this platform and you decide to bring this on the forefront. I urge folk, as I said before, those of you who have green cards, you have the green card over 5 years, you have a program that you run where you have lawyers come on and encouraging people to become citizens and encouraging people to become citizens and participate. Those of you who are citizens, you have to get up and not be contented in just the fact that you are a citizen now and you don't need papers to go back and forth. You could travel anytime you want, etc. But we have to participate. Jomani Williams is the Grenadian that we know who is public advocate, the highest ranking Grenadian in city government in New York City. There are others who need our support. right? And I'm encouraging Grenadians in particular and all other Caribbean people listening and watching to please become citizens and participate and vote. Let me just take this opportunity also, Junior. I know we're not talking about that today, but you had a program last night with talking of the Scaramouche back in Grenada. I have a container that I have all of the items that Beast labeled that is needed, and I am asking for help. I've been on the program before asking for help, and a few people have responded, very few, but again asking for help to ship that container home. This weekend, we're looking to clean the items, some of the items actually that I have in Brooklyn, to clean them. If you're interested in helping me clean and pack and repack, okay, give me a phone call after this program is over, or you could call Junior, make contact with me, and come on out and give us a hand on packing and cleaning the medical equipment that we're shipping to Grenada. That will benefit not just Scaramouche, but will benefit several other Scaramouches we have in Grenada. I'm committed to this. This is going to be the second container that I'm shipping. I'm committed to helping our Grenadian folk. And while we celebrate this guilty verdict on this Chauvin guy in New York, not New York, but in the United States,
Minneapolis.
In Minneapolis and the United States, right? We have a case in Grenada of Oscar Bartholomew where the guilty verdict is still waiting to be heard. The justice of Oscar Bartholomew is still waiting to be heard. And I'm asking Grenadians, in particular in this case, to please reach out to the police commissioner, reach out to the DPP, reach out to all of the authorities in Grenada and ask them, please bring some justice to the family of Oscar Bartholomew and bring a final say. Let's do something. I'm not looking to put the officers in jail, but at least let's bring some justice to the life and the legacy of Oscar Bartholomew. Let's look at the humanity of Oscar and his family. Let's look at the humanity of Grenadians who over the years have been pleading and begging for some kind of a justice for Oscar Bartholomew. We need it in Grenada.
Junior,
and thank you.
Yeah.
Junior, one last thing.
Let me give you Jerry. Hold Jerry. Let me give you my phone number. For if you're interested in helping me, call me 917-676-2634. 917-676-2634. Call me, and so that I could give you the address and location as to the cleanup. Is this weekend and next weekend. This weekend we're cleaning. Next weekend we're packing the trailer. Thank you so very much, Junior.
All right.
Thank you, Junior.
Be brief.
Yeah, I'll be very brief. I just want to second and encourage people to do what John Crow just appealed about. And also for those who would like to help St. Vincent, I'm working closely with the Consul General of St. Vincent, CG Howie Prince. And if there is anyone out there who would like to donate to the folks in St. Vincent, in addition to the Vincentian Consulate and organizations working under the auspices of the Consul General of St. Vincent, also whiskey shippers and movers here in Brooklyn, they are shipping stuff to St. Vincent at no cost to donors, to those who want to donate. So give me a call and I will direct you and help to get the stuff to whiskey shippers or to the Consul General, so that those who are most in need of items, emergency items in St. Vincent and the Grenadines can have those items. And the number you can reach me at is 347-350-4285. 347-350-4285. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Jerry. Thank you so much. The usual suspect, John Crow, Jerry, and of course, my homeboy, Chopper John West. Yeah, guys, listen. Everyone say that this is an opportunity to celebrate. And people are on the street and they're celebrating. And it's a jovial atmosphere. People are happy. Yes, I get it. And I'm happy too. I'm happy. I'm not going to put a damper on everybody's happiness, but this is not justice for the family. Because think about it, right? From the family perspective, you just lost a husband, a wife, a son, a daughter. You just lost someone in your family. Somebody being charged, somebody being sent to jail for 22 years, 42 years, 52 years. They ain't bringing them back. No matter what, they ain't bringing them back. So that's not real justice for the family. Chauvin is going to be in jail. He's going to be fed. He's going to be taken out. He's going to play soccer. He's probably going to shoot some hoops while he's in jail, burn some time, all that stuff, read, come out, and he probably going to come out like in the next, how much years? I don't know. However, George Floyd is dead. His daughter would never see him again. He's dead. He's done, right? So how is that justice for the family? There will be no justice for the Floyd family, right? But at the same time, at least we hoping that this sends us as a message to police officers, not only in the United States, but all over, that you can't just look at a black man or any man for that matter, any person for that matter, and feel like they are dirt or they're worse than a piece of shit from under your foot. No. Let this be a reminder before you pull that gun and point it at an unarmed person and fire and pull that trigger and kill them. Think about you might spend the rest of your life in jail. So let this be a sizzling a reminder to these police officers. So many times we go to court, and it happened to me. You go to court for police pull you over for some reason and they write something on there which is completely incorrect. They say you're speeding above the speed limit and it wasn't you. But no matter what you say, the judge would never take your side. It's always the police side. And that's how it is. That needs to change. So that is justice when this whole system is changed, and don't just look at an unarmed black man as yeah, he's a perpetrator in all the situations. The man, he was killed. He was a victim, but they still had him on trial. Yeah, he was on trial. His character was on trial. He was on trial. George Floyd was on trial. I don't even know why they had to take so long to deliberate. I think that when I saw yesterday, they everyone settled their case and all into today. I didn't hear it. I said I want to take 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Because what the hell? Look at the man's knee on the man's neck. Like you have to be blind not to see like this. That's how he killed him. Like there is no other way. There is nothing else. It's right there. And they stood there and they feel with the full set of confidence that, we could get away with this. Yeah, don't worry about it. He didn't kill him. It was his enlarging heart and all kind of BS. Right? Imagine that. The man is on camera. It's not like somebody say that they see this and they don't have no real hard evidence, No, listen. They have video evidence from all kind of angle. They probably have satellite image, all kind of thing. In not only in that blurry video, it's high definition. They take it on an iPhone camera, the best definition you could find. You could read the signature on the man on the man tie, all kind of thing on the shoulders. You could see in the back of his shirt, made in China. High definition. You can't get more high definition than that. And they still have this case and a defense against this man. Anyway, guys, I talked too much. Let me go. But I'm happy that at least we have a verdict. Because if this verdict was swung the other way, I don't know. Trust me, I don't know what would have become. I don't know. Not only in Minneapolis, but here in New York, all over the place. Even in China, they would have eruption. Trust me. Anyway, guys, let me go. I gotta go. Peace out, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. If you guys didn't see the moment, I'll share with you again. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, please be seated. Members of the jury, I understand you have a verdict. Members of the jury, I will now read the verdicts as they will appear in the permanent records of the 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota, County of Hennepin, District Court, 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota Plaintiff versus Derek Michael Chauvin, Defendant. Verdict, Count 1. Court file number 27, CR 20-12646. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:44 p.m. Signed, juror foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Signed by jury foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Jury foreperson 019. Members of the jury, I'm now going to ask you individually if these are your true and correct verdicts. Please respond yes or no. Juror number 2, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 9, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 19, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 27, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 44, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 52, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 55, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 79, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 85, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 89, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 91, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 92, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Are these your verdicts? So say you one, so say you all.
Yes.
Members of the jury.
Feeling hungry, grab a snack. Caribbean food delight. Jamaican patties, light and flaky. Caribbean food delight. Taste the difference. Caribbean food delight. Grab a patty, take a bite. Caribbean food delight. Quick and easy, grab a patty, take a bite. Caribbean food delight. Oh yeah.
Are you fed up of your mask or your foggy face shield? Introducing the Fashion Shield from callallpronow.com. Keep your hairdo intact, your makeup flawless, and be fully protected. Get the Fashion Shield now. Call 516-387-4246 or visit callallpronow.com.
Come on, this is your opportunity to tap into the $7.3 trillion industry in this COVID time. Get interactive, hands-on in the Forex and crypto market. Educate yourself in this financial industry. All of this is possible right now with a multi-source income generator. This program will allow you to learn while you earn in this lucrative decentralized industry. Take advantage of this trading academy, personal development, create multi-source stream income, trading ideas in this global market, get discount travel with your own portal, bonus token backed by bitcoins, and so much more. For more information, contact Kristen Alexis at 347-834-2852 or Marisha Dash at 646-529-6570. Don't miss out on this amazing opportunity of a lifetime. Call now. Let's face it, this is not normal times, but life, it must go on. And with all these continued restrictions on get-togethers, you need a streaming company like Ridealong Media Group LLC, one that can stream to all your family members to the comfort of their own homes, both privately or publicly, you decide. One who understands your privacy, one who simply cares. So for that wedding, funeral, public or private event, choose the professional production company with the experience and quality guaranteed. Family can travel? Inquire about our seamless remote participant option. Thinking of streaming your virtual event? We handle it all, from multi-camera video production to streaming, post-production, editing, and more via Zoom, YouTube, Facebook, or any platform required. Call us and speak to our experienced professional team. 212-809-4324. That's 212-809-4324. Ridealong Media Group LLC. We're here when you need us.
We are survivors. We will survive. We will survive. We are firm believers. We'll forever strive just to stay alive. That simple means say nobody can hold we. Nobody can drain our energy. Nobody control we. We will not allow negativity. Nobody can hold we. Nobody can drain our energy. Nobody can. Nobody can. Yo! Ride along to strength. No weakness. Show we a lion power. Yo, ride along, Junior. Go on, my brother. Enough love. Enough honor, enough manners. Blessings. You understand? What you're doing for the music and for the people. Continue doing the thing here, my brother. One love. One Caribbean, one people, one nation. You understand? Blessed love. Much appreciated. Yeah? When that's a pharaoh. Oh. Everything I fumble. Everybody, show me some